All right, here we go. So yeah, guys, big news today. Big drop reveal today. Rivals has just dropped Rogue's trailer, following up after Gambito, who has taken the Marvel world by storm. You can't have one without the other. You can't have jelly without the jam. You can't have yin without the yang. You know, and Rogue is here. So this is going to be my blind reaction to this trailer. But as we always do it, Anim Style is coming back. Animation Breakdown is coming back. We're going to take a look at her, take a look at all the juicy details, and then get into it. The nitty gritty with the MVPs, study the camera work, also a little bit of the gameplay and design. Yeah, boys, back again doing the animation breakdowns. Let's rip it out. Here we go. Marvel Rival fans, rejoice. Your girl's here. What's up with the tango music? I just said that. Ooh.
Seat, darling.
I love that voice actress.
Caught you good.
I guess she's supposed to be a tank. Bro, those jump kicks.
Sayonara.
What's up with the Spanish influence here? What am I looking at? Why is that multiplayer all of a sudden? Oh yeah, that's right. She absorbs powers.
Better watch out. I'm feeling a little
What?
touchy today.
Oh, very blunt.
Nighty night, sugar.
Ho! Woo! Yes, queen. Oh, I'm digging it, man. I love it. I love how they put that sugar in on the end. Yo, you can't have Rogue without the sugar. Sugar and spice, everything nice. Let's take a look at her. I'm loving this design. It's looking cool. Let's see, like just break it down animation style. Jumping in on it. We've seen it. We took a look at it. It's feeling good. Sugar's there on the screen. Let's take a look at the outfit. Classic Rogue outfit. So yeah, instantly I'm taking a look at the face area right over here. The white streak is gone. We don't have a white streak now. We've got like a giant fill color streak. Like we've got a whole frontal white hair Rogue. She looks a lot older. Like if you were to cut this part of the head out and just look at her from here, this would look like Grandma Rogue. Don't know how I feel about it. I'm kind of used to the like the classic, let's just like, if there was like a little streak like that, that's the kind of thing that I'm into. Yeah, classic green yellow jumpsuit. Not much has changed there. They got the cool leather jacket, the whatchamacallit, the Terry Bogard Falcon jacket in the mix. And then, yeah, putting emphasis on her absorption powers. Looks like pretty simplistic, pretty sweet. Let's get to the animation because I know that's what we're all here for. All right, so first MVP. Let's take a look.
Your girl Rogue is ready for action.
Oh my God, your voice just melts me. Okay, I like how they're putting emphasis on her hand abilities. Like obviously this is the absorption technique. She has a really cool striking pose. This is interesting, looking nice. Okay, let's talk about the beginning. Rogue flies in. I think this happens way too effing fast. When I first saw it, I thought she was basically in frame. This doesn't bother me, but dude, let's work with the perspective. I don't know how much blur is in this frame, but Rogue is all about flying. Flying is her thing. Super strength, absorption, but flying like Superman takes first place. Really use that space to come in. I'm thinking in the distance, you can come in and come in really big through here too, but use that space, not just one linear swoop in through there. Like there's plenty of Superman reference out there to really get your creative juices flowing. So I'm thinking they really could have started off with something a little bit more eye-catching around the screen before she comes in. The close-up I feel is working for me. However, when we get in here, there's just this part to where she hits the brakes. I'm not really feeling that. We kind of lose her in frame too. So just kind of looking at like where her head position's at. This is cool. It's okay if her arm goes out of frame. That's totally fine. But dude, like I would totally like really work this whole pose into perspective. So let's just say like, that's her arms right here. This is the gazungas. This is the hips. This is the knee. coming out through here and then trailing with the leg back here too. Like you can totally use the entire frame to keep her body all into the frame too as well. And just a lot of hair for good measure too. Yeah, some of this stuff can really be utilized, like especially a lot of that screen space when she comes in. I think it's a little too close. I know we want to get emphasis on her face, which is all great, but you lose a lot of her body around through here too, like her boots just kind of straying up from the top frame, her other boots kind of covered by the front boot too. And these boots are obviously in frame too, and one's clipping as well. So yeah, just work on getting more of those boots in frame. Can we please do that, Netties? All right. But yeah, the stop comes too much into frame with this movement. I just don't think like this movement from here to here is registering as well as what you can do. I would just say, let's pull the camera out a little bit more, you know, to show the whole thing. Or either if like we're starting from a Superman pose, which is here, and then we can come to like a break, we can push it up in front, but really like, you know, push like, this is such a sweet pose. I'm just thinking more perspectively, you know, like where the body is working, how the arm is flowing, what the arm is doing, and basically like showing like what the legs are doing through here too. Really, really like, you know, put that into perspective so we can show this whole pose, man. Like I think this is like just itching to really like get in there, but you know, we're just cutting in too close. I think now that I'm looking at it, I think her hair is supposed to be short, and I think that's probably what's missing from this character. Design wise, I think this hair needs to be really, really pushed out. Like we need to start filling some of this negative space and really showing off that natural cover girl model pose that, you know, she's always been known to have. I think also too, the landing is feeling nice. They got like a nice superhero landing. The pose is feeling really good. I think one thing that really sticks out to me through this landing, like as she comes and hits this ground, is just how stiff she is through this whole thing. I know she's strong. I know this is a really hard landing, but just adding a little bit of follow through, like a little dip and a little bit of like the arm coming back out, can really help out a lot. This is really cool. I'm glad they're paying attention to this nice little detail. The boot doesn't feel bent. It doesn't feel broken. It's going off to the side where it needs to be. Geez, like I just thinking the only thing that I think could help this pose, that I think would just make it more appealing, is if you could just do something with the hair. But like if you can do something maybe just a little bit more Pocahontas, or fucking, you know, like space hair or something like that, or just maybe something that's like more slow-mo, or just like even something that's a little bit more kind of like this. I mean, I don't want to get too Phoenix or too Jean Grey, but just something that really like almost like adds a cape to her performance. I think that'll really sell out a lot. Yeah, they knew what they were doing when it comes to this gameplay. Yeah, Rogue has got some interesting movements. I'm not used to seeing Rogue run. I will give you that. Like Rogue in the comics, of course, in the animated series, she flies. She flies everywhere, flies all the time. I think the thing is, for me, it's kind of odd seeing her just like trotting towards the enemies. I like how they have these dashing. I love these air attacks, dude. These air attacks are kick-ass. But just the whole way that she's just kind of running, the upper body feels very separated from the lower body because obviously your character needs to move. But when it comes to like really super strong hits like this, we lose that. We lose that feeling of Rogue really like pushing her body into it and really swinging, like do these left hooks and crosses. I don't really feel that energy. You sort of feel it through here, right? Because her body is leaning into it. See how she's incorporating more of this angle into that with the two arms? You start to get a sense of like energy coming through there, and that's a good thing.
Better watch out. I'm feeling a little touchy today.
Seriously, touchy today. Nice touch, Netties. It's like, I understand what you guys are going for here. First and foremost, she's running, okay? Again, running Rogue, I'm not used to seeing. Is it bad? Not really. There is some good running animation through here, but at the same time, it's like the first MVP, Rogue is coming from this screen to this screen. She's running from right to left. second MVP, she's basically doing the same thing, running from right to left again. Change up the angle a little bit. Don't repeat the same thing that you did before. Try something different. I really dig this shot. This shot is feeling cool. I think you could actually have used a trucking shot. A trucking shot is basically kind of like a 2D plane shot that you're running right to left. You could have just like been right alongside her, maybe done like a crash zoom in to where she's running at super speed going from right to left. So bear with me, right? So she's running. This is kind of like where she's going, you know. Shot starts out like probably like this wide, and as she's coming through, you know, it gets like closer through here. We start to zoom in, you know, like as she's coming through this way, you're running alongside her, and then she gets into this shot too. This is awesome, by the way, right? I love this shot through here. I do think you can get into slow motion a little bit earlier, because once we get through here, she starts to look a little janky, right? Like this part, like, you know, is kind of like a little less attractive, unsmoother than this shot right here. So I think like as she comes in, she could probably notice you a little bit sooner. She got the wild eyes over here. She starts to get a little bit of smile in there. You know, we start to see like a little bit of that charm that is Rogue. The character comes forward in space and then pushes back in space and forward and back. So like this jittery stuff right here is what's really feeling out of sync with this MVP. I really much rather have her more center frame, because right now she's at an awkward side of the frame. And I think this part too, her head feels a little broken. Like if I'm trying to do this, like my neck's already hurting, especially this part too. I think what we need is just a little bit more chest turn. Just need a little bit more, you know, and I'm pretty sure nobody's going to disagree with me when I'm drawing this. A little bit more chest action, right? And a little bit more of the head tilting in. Not quite this way, because this one feels a little too broke, but maybe something if it's like a little bit more concave to like the other side, you know, something kind of like that, right? You know, as she's coming over, I think like that would probably be like a more attractive angle. One thing that they are doing correctly with this shot is the hair. The hair is flapping in the wind. It's moving. It's glistening. She's got the sparkles going. She's razzle dazzling through here. I'm digging it. And the last thing is, okay, I'm doing a shot quite similar to this in a super. And this stuff needs to track flawlessly when it comes to this spinny stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, her body is spinning around, she's coming, but if you look at the arms and the angles, they're just jittering all over the place. So, perfect example, hand is here, hand goes down. So like here's our path of action. Hand comes back up here, right? So you got this movement, hand comes back up here, hand goes straight out, hand comes down, hand stops and goes down, hand comes back up, hand goes back there. So the tracking, not just of her hands, but her body and her hips, that's what's catching my eye. So it looks like she's hitting a bunch of turbulence as she's turning around through here. This turn feels very, very rough. And for a final piece of animation, that shit needs to be synced up and working like butter. Guys, come on, man. Like, you could have had a way better pose than this. I'm just thinking like straight up out of the box, like straight up, this is a pose, flying pose, that's a pose. You know, this can be so enhanced. Right now, this doesn't really feel Rogue-esh. And not just that, but the same thing has happened with Gambit too. And I can't quite put my finger on why they're doing this. They're cutting characters off from the waist side, from the knees. So we don't see the full character, but yet we're losing a lot from the upper side here too. So it's just an odd, like full body shot that they're placing these characters in. Give it some finesse, right? Take that and like give it some angle, give it some direction. I like how she has a kind of like this checker mark look to her, but she's so flat. Is basically like the arms don't really feel like they're moving in line with where the body is arced through here. So you've got like some tilt through here, but the head just kind of stays stiff. The legs are kind of pretty much like symmetric with a little bit of difference. At least ended on a pose where it feels, it like milks that personality, it milks that wonder, it milks that mystique about her. Wow, what a pose to start off on. All of a sudden, like the jacket tends to get smaller and the belts get a little tighter. This is a tough fucking pose to pull off, especially in animation too, and it's showing. This pose is suffering because of it too. Why? Because we have fingers that are connecting. You have force that is being pushed with this hand. So if you're looking at my camera through here, this force is basically what we're trying to get. We're trying to get the flex of the carpal tunnels connecting to the top of the fingers into this push. The reason why this pose is so hard to pull off too is because we are needing to feel these hands being pushed out this way, almost kind of like a deck of cards, almost about ready to like crumple underneath the weight of themselves, right? But we're not getting that. We're getting basically just two IK hands into this pose, and they're trying to cheat her, giving this energy, and we're starting to see like some gaps, right? It's just a clear indication that there's no animation. There's nothing being pushed or pressed through here too. So that's a big slam for me. Animation wise, that's a big notch on, you know, kind of like my pet peeve list. If you're gonna pull off something that complicated, you need to put in time, you need to put in the constraints, you need to put in the setup in order to make it feel like she's cracking her fingers back that way, or at least stretching her arms out. The pose itself, though, is very appealing. I think the only thing that I probably would critique about it is maybe pulling her head up just a little bit more, so that way we can see that really coy look that she's doing, that nice little expression that she's doing back there. The problem is I'm not really getting to see too much of it. And then this pose, I like how she breaks free of it. This is a nice breakdown. One thing I love about the way she is looking, her face is looking so appealing. Some of these poses, their face animators or the face animation is looking very straightforward and very appealing too. I really like how they modeled her. Like they're not really pushing her to be like a super deadly seductress type, but she has like she's very charming and very cute, very adorable in some of these shots. So they're doing very well with some of these facial expressions. And then the final pose right here, love it. Power girl pose, the strong pose, nice silhouette read. The only thing that's bumping me the wrong way is just kind of how she's settling the fist on her hip. It's a hard thing to pull off, and trust me, I know. I just finished an animation at my job doing something similar to this, and just hands on the hips in general are a tricky bastard to pull off, because basically when you get them on there, all of a sudden it becomes like a pivot, it becomes a swivel change. You're not normally on hand controls or arm controls, you're rotating the hand from the wrist. That's this way. But once you make connection on a body of some type, all of a sudden your pivot is going from the knuckles, right? So you're needing this transition in the hand too. And that's why I'm seeing the animators struggle a little bit, you know, when it comes to that bump right there. I like this version of Rogue. She's not too far off the mark from the Rogue that I'm used to. The only thing that I would critique visual wise is just I wish her hair was a little louder, a little bit bigger. Her streak, it's not really a streak anymore. It's more of like a front dye, which I'm not too big of a fan of either. I mean, that's kind of the trade Rogue signature. And the only thing really else gameplay wise, I wish you could just be flying a lot more, because that's kind of like the Rogue that I know. I know this is kind of like a run around platformer kind of thing, but Rogue should be one of the characters that remains in flight, because seeing her run around, it's so odd to me. Seeing her do that, I just don't think that's one of her character features. I would probably be right up to a B tier. I would say like right below A, probably mid B tier to a low B tier, because I'm willing to deduct all those points because, you know, Lenore saved it for me. The voice actress delivers always, and I love this. Thank you, Sugar. Thank you, guys. So if you like that, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to see more animation reactions or animation breakdowns, let me know in the comments.